By the light of the sun, by the depth of the moon, by the flame of the wand, and by the pentacle of earth, I call upon the guides of wisdom, the ancestors of the craft, and the holy guardian angel. Guide us now through the stations of the dove and serpent. Reveal what is hidden, that we may transform it into light. Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Together we walk the path of the dove and serpent spread, an 11-fold journey of transformation. Each position reveals a unique aspect of your journey, alternating between the essence of your being and the events that help to shape your destiny. Remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we have an Ace of Pentacles as our first card, the Station card. This sort of reveals what your general energy is right now, how you see yourself. And I think that you see yourself as somebody with a big opportunity in life. You know, I feel like this is the card of not so much starting a new path. I know very often the Ace of Pentacles is like, I'm going to begin a new journey, right? A physical seed is being planted somewhere. I feel like this card's kind of representing the summit of the mountain. It's like you can see the oak tree in the acorn, yeah. And I feel like you know that your goals are attainable and achievable. I think you're somebody who is kind of naturally planting seeds, naturally kind of looking for new opportunities, and I kind of feel like sometimes you have a lot of irons in the fire. It's like you'll plant a lot of seeds, and you'll see which ones grow. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like planting actual seeds. You got to plant more than one, you know. And then the ones that really start to grow and sprout, and they really seem like they're viable, you'll lock in on those. Okay, so I kind of feel like right now you're maybe locking in on one particular path out of several, that you might be singling one thing out as the thing you really want to focus on. So with this card, it kind of implies that we've been experimenting with a lot of things. It's, at the base of the mountain, let's say, there are a lot of options. A lot of paths can lead to the top of the mountain here. And when we're just beginning, we have a goal up there at the top, we say, I want to get to the summit of the mountain, there are a lot of paths that we could take to get there. I think that this is representing you picking the path that works for you, whether this is a physical practice, maybe physical fitness routine, or certain exercises, whether this is a relationship, a business, a job, an art form, a career, a vocation, this could be, choosing the right path for us. Yeah. So I feel like you're somebody who is gaining a sense of direction. And it feels that we're sort of narrowing things down to the best choice possible. Okay. And so I think you're somebody who's very thoughtful. I think that you don't leap before you look. You don't just jump into things on a whim or impulsively. I think you really like to evaluate your options and look at the practical nature of the path that you're sort of contemplating or considering. Right. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. We have a Six of Cups. You're choosing the path with heart. That's what that is. Six of Cups. We have an Eight of Wands, makes sense. We have a Four of Pentacles, interesting, in the background, and a Four of Swords up top here. We have a Queen of Pentacles in the future position. We have a Seven of Cups. We have a Five of Wands. We have a 10 of Swords, and we have a 2 of Swords. I feel like this is really the choice of the right path for you. Okay, to me it feels like this is your breakthrough moment. This is where we really have that aha moment, where we realize what the true path is for us right now. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it over here, not with our little octopus friend, not today. Who should we use for this energetic cycle? I wish this was kept in order because I forget what we've recently used. I think we're going to go with everybody's favorite, Tiny Bob Ross. Happy little Bob, happy little card. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading, okay? If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we look around the room, what's one thing we notice? Well, there are no major arcana cards. Okay. It doesn't mean that Spirit's not here, Spirit's not in the building. No, Spirit is the building. Spirit is the table supporting your choices right now. Spirit is here giving you this spread and saying, you can choose the path. You can choose any path. You can make the choice for yourself of what you want to do right now. Okay? And so I think that you're somebody who is, you're committed, or you have that ability to commit to things. When something really speaks to you and resonates with you, you will choose it and you will choose nothing else, and that will be what you devote yourself to, okay? Whether this is an art form, whether it's another person, a relationship, a job, a fight that you feel is worth fighting, okay? And Spirit is saying that you can make the choice that you feel is right. Spirit's kind of telling you, trust your feelings, trust what resonates with you right now, okay? Because it is, your destiny here is to make not only one choice about this particular path, but every choice in your life is going to be guided by your intuition that we have here. So we don't have any major arcana, but Spirit is the table. But Spirit is saying that there are no major karmic lessons that you are untying. There are no knots of karma that you're working out right now. There are no sore spots or weak spots, or blockages that you're being shown. Okay, when the major arcana cards pop out, it usually is Spirit emphasizing one aspect of your spirit, of your soul, or another. Okay, and that is usually showing us the path or the road toward becoming the magician. That's what the tarot does, by the way, little secret. The tarot is trying to remind you that you are the magician. We all start out as the fool. We've forgotten our true nature. The tarot will teach us, remind us, taking us through the journey of the major arcana cards to remind us that we are the magician indeed. And then we can start creating our personality and our personal reality. And Spirit saying that there's nothing blocking you from being the magician right now. Mystery card, probably the magician. And this is you working your magic. And position 2 in our spread is called the battlefield. This is an event. This is a pleasurable thing that happens to you. And I think that you're going to experience really the joy of being on this path. This seems to be a choice now, a commitment to a particular journey, whether it's a person, a place, or a thing, doesn't matter. That is going to resonate with your soul in a major way. It's going to feel really good. And so maybe you're somebody that doesn't always trust the feeling. Maybe you're a little suspicious. When things feel good, you're like, wait a minute. Right now you're being told to follow your heart. If something feels good, embrace it. Your soul knows the difference. Obviously not if it's unhealthy or it's obviously bad for you, but it feels good. No, that's not what we mean. You'll know when it resonates with your soul. So this is us choosing the path with heart. It's the 6 of Cups, right? It represents that heart chakra anyway. The 6s, right, always represent that sun, that solar energy. And this is you choosing the path that you know in your spirit is the right path for you, resonates with you, feels good to you on a kind of an existential level, okay? And this is going to be, I think, a path that has hardships, sure, but it's going to be a path that feels right and has a lot of joy on it, okay? This 6 of Cups is usually a card of community, usually a card of finding value in something for its own sake, not because of what it can give me, not because of what you can do for me, but because of who you are. So this is you finding acceptance, not for what you're bringing to the table, not for what you can give other people, not even for what's on your mind, or not even for what's in your heart, but just for you being you. Okay? Maybe for what's in your heart. I feel like you're a very compassionate person. I feel like you may not always admit this, but you do want love and affection. You do want a hug from people, you know? I wonder if when you walk into a room, if you're kind of like you want to give everybody a hug, but there's something that you kind of are a little bit reluctant. You got to start hugging people, asking permission, of course, whatever, but you've got to start letting it be known that you want those intimate relationships. You want those really close connections with people. I feel like the path you're on now is taking you into a new tribe of people for you. It feels like a group of like-minded individuals who are valuing each other for their own. I don't know if it's some kind of a club, or if it's some kind of maybe it's a religious thing, a church, a temple, a lodge, or any kind of a group of people that are together in support of each other. Okay, it feels like a family. It feels like you're choosing family here in a way, right? I'm feeling an African connection with you. There's some, what is it, Burkina Faso? Does that mean anything? I'm feeling that something in Africa is important to you there. Or that has some kind of an ancestral connection for you, yeah. And who's the person that wears the scarf? Somebody's got the scarf, yeah. Spirit is really sending me this feeling of joy, warmth, and love with this Six of Cups for you. And so I feel that this is a kind of a breakthrough moment. This is something that feels like a celebration. And it's not you celebrating by yourself. This is a group of people that are coming together, and it feels like coming together and worshiping, really like a spiritual celebration. Okay, the Six of Cups to me feels like it feels like a family. It might be chosen family. It could be a group of friends. It could be the new workplace. It feels like you're being welcomed with open arms. Okay, now it feels very good. Down beneath the surface, we have the Eight of Wands here. This is your soul position, position 3 of the spread. And this is sometimes representing the whispers of your soul, right? Kind of what's being hidden underneath everything. And to me, this is the card of a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of restless energy. I feel like your soul maybe has been restless lately. We may be consciously experiencing the anxiety, but sometimes this feels like we don't know which direction to move. I want to go this way, I want to go that way. I can't go in 2 directions at once. And so very often this is a card that's saying, I know I need to move, but I don't know where to go. And so I end up staying put, right? We take 2 steps that way, and then 2 steps back to the center. We take 2 steps that way, 2 steps back to the center. What happened? We took 4 steps, but we didn't go anywhere. Okay, so it's kind of a lot of experimentation. Maybe it's a lot of restlessness. Of kind of, we got the jazz hands. We're tap dancing on the shag carpet because we're anticipating something. And I feel like what's happening now is you're getting this revelation because you're using your intuition to make a choice. You're finding the path that has heart, and guess what? It's a peaceful path. It's a peaceful path. Okay, and that's kind of what we're looking for right now is peace. I feel like you have a restless soul right now, even though you may not consciously be feeling that. And I think that this is also very creative energy. You're a creative person. It may be that the life that you've been living, the path you've been on, hasn't felt all that creative to you. There's not been the outlet for that soul energy expression. I kind of feel like I want to dance with you, There's something that is really joyous about what's happening in your life. And maybe it is art, maybe it is dancing or music or something involving movement, yeah. Because I feel like we want to move, but we haven't been moving. Spirit's saying you need to move more. Just dance. Just get up and, do a little, kind of little end zone dance, a touchdown dance or something. intentional movement is very important, and I think that's a good thing for you, because I feel like you have a lot of static energy that needs to be discharged. Earthing, grounding, that sort of thing is going to be good for you too. Go dance barefoot in the grass. Just go take a walk in the grass, wherever it's safe and comfortable, obviously, for you. Make sure that's part of your practice, okay? I think that's going to be very important for you, especially in the days to come. The Spirit's saying that you just got back from some kind of a trip, that you were moving or something recently, right? And we just kind of settled in somewhere. Maybe we had to take a business trip. Maybe we went and did some, I don't know, you got back from, I don't think it was a long trip. I think it was just, it was maybe a business thing or something for work, or it's like visiting family, and then we came back from something, okay? You're somebody with a lot of tools in the toolbox. You're good at a lot of things. And when you're good at a lot of things, you kind of become that jack of all trades, master of none, but always better than a master of one, right? So it seems as if you've had a bit of trouble finding something that really speaks to you and sticking with it. It's not that you have a fear of commitment. It's not that you have an inability to persevere. No, it's that you like too many things. You have too many things that speak to you. And so it's very difficult for us to choose something and just go in that one particular direction. We might not really have to. Okay. I know that with the ace here, it seems as if we are finding the one path that's going to work for us. Like I said, at the base of the mountain, there are a lot of options. As long as we know what the goal is, as long as we know what is at the summit, this card, as long as we know what's at the summit of the mountain, what it is we're hoping to achieve, whether it's financial stability, whether it is a family, I want to achieve, some kind of a state of well-being or health, physical, mental, emotional health. As long as we sort of know what the summit of the mountain is, I want to get to the top of the industry. I want to be the best at what I do. There are a lot of roads that can lead there, and when we first start out, we can try many different things. We can diversify our energy and experiment and try a lot of different paths that may lead up to the mountain. But the further up the mountain we get, right, it's wide at the base and it gets skinnier at the top. The closer we get to the top, the less room there is for change. The more important it is to stay on that one path, and we're sort of specializing as we go. As we get higher and higher up, we're sort of other things that are no longer necessary or useful, they fall away. And only the essential things remain. Okay? So the Eight of Wands is a lot of creativity, a lot of diversification. We are going to need to get moving, but don't feel like you have to pick the perfect road right now. We don't have to plot the entire course. We want to know. We know we want to go from New York to California, maybe the other way around. From New York to California, right? And so it's basically, okay, you're going to go west. We may not have the driving directions planned out. That journey, that's a lot of miles, right? We could go a lot of different ways. We could just zigzag up and down the United States to get there if we wanted to, right? We could go see the world's biggest ball of yarn. We could stop and have many adventures on the way. We can hit every ice cream shop we find, We can go to all the famous restaurants that we've been wanting to eat at. But the point is, we don't have to just plot the one set of directions and that's it. I don't think that's your nature right now. I think you want a little bit more exposure, a little bit more experience, and you want to have a wide variety, a diversification of experience right now. Yeah. But back in the previous position, this is position 4, the dwarf position, usually representing things that are holding you back. Okay? And it's the 4 of Pentacles. Represents some knots of karma, perhaps. Okay? I think these are things that are being worked. There's something you recognize now, I'm pretty sure. To me, the 4 feels like a physical defensiveness. It kind of feels as if you... as if when you were younger, you kind of learned how to protect your energy by shutting down, by building walls, right? So I feel like you're somebody who has built a lot of walls around you because it makes us feel safe, right? And sometimes this is isolation. Sometimes this is how we've learned maybe as kids to not go do the risky thing, to not leave the comfort of our own home. It's much safer here where we are. Don't go outside. It's scary outside. There's saber-toothed tigers out there. So the Four of Pentacles may be that we've been taught as children to not do anything risky. I don't think you've probably never broken a bone, right? That we were always told, be careful, be careful, be safe, be safe. We weren't encouraged to take a chance or do anything kind of even a little bit risky, right? Maybe you've been taught this financially, that we've been taught, save your money, save your money, save your money. Maybe when we were children, there was not a lot of abundance in the household. Physical, maybe presence, physical abundance. And so now we're sort of like, we're playing it safe. That whatever we have, we're trying to kind of keep it. And that might be preventing us from taking risks or getting outside, getting out of our comfort zone. It may have been preventing you from connecting with people. This is a little bit closed off, okay? Like physically not going outside. Whereas the Six of Cups, on the other hand now, is saying that I've gone outside. Not only did I go outside, but I found it's very nice outside, and I like being out here. Okay? I'm feeling rewarded for taking the risk outside of the comfort zone. And this is a physical safety, security, stability. And it may be that we didn't have a very stable upbringing. And so now whatever you've acquired in your life that feels stable, we're clinging to it. We don't want to let it go. Because letting it go is kind of putting it at risk, and we don't want to experience that kind of scarcity again, But what we do when we add an ace to our four is we get a Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is, I'm worried. Things are shaky. Things are uncertain. Things are unstable now. And I feel like that is that's the risk that we're taking. It's kind of like the Ace of Pentacles is that big step outside the house that's saying, I'm taking a risk and leaving this behind because I might find this. Okay, so it could be that we're taking a chance, going out and meeting people. We're taking a chance and going out, putting ourselves out there to find our soul tribe, to find our family, to find our people, find our love, find our community, right? We can't really participate in the community when we're here in this fortified castle. Okay, so I think, have been looking at where have I been locking myself up in a tower? Where have I been staying inside of my fortified castle? And how do I need to get out of there and do something new, do something different? Take a step outside the castle. This is kind of like you go out in public and you're sort of quiet. You got your attention is focused inward. You're very aware of your body states. You have that interoception, right? Which is preventing us from kind of connecting with other people and expressing our love and feeling the empathy or even expressing empathy or compassion for other people. That we're kind of locked up in our own selves. Could be that you've also been feeling a lot of tension in your body. Okay? Where we hold tension is kind of, that seems to be a physical blockage. All right? But I feel like you've been working on all these things already because Spirit's not here on the table, right? Spirit is the table, but there are no major arcana cards. So it tells me that you've probably already done a lot of this work. And that's why now you're taking this step outside of the box and you're connecting with people. You're connecting with things. You're networking, you're making friends, you're dating, maybe you are having fun, you're out there enjoying life, you're taking yourself out on dates. You're doing things that bring joy to your heart. That's what Spirit wants to emphasize right now. You're doing things that feel good to your heart and soul, and do more of those things. To do that, we have to get out of this sort of clinging to a sense of security or stability, okay? Physically or financially. Doesn't mean we have to go gamble all our money away, but we need to realize, what do I need to invest myself in, right? Because over here, it's like we've got a lot, we are a lot, but we're not investing ourselves in anything. This is me now taking a little piece of myself and investing it in what? Other people. Okay, investing it in other people. So the Four of Pentacles in the background is that kind of the safe place that we find ourselves, as we've locked ourselves into that safe place, physically or financially, and now we're kind of taking that risk. You know, this is like I kind of learned as a kid not to climb trees, not to take risks, not to roughhouse, not to horse around, and now I sort of don't want to do any kind of sports. I don't want to do any kind of team sports because I might get hurt. That we didn't grow up with a lot of money, and so now it's like I don't want to spend any money, even on things I need. I will say no. I need to save that money. It's not a bad problem to have, right? Not a bad problem to have at all. You have that ability to conserve energy and to save your energy, save your money, and to protect your body. But sometimes then we feel this anxiety inside, and we put these two cards together. We're feeling tension in the jaw, in the neck, in the back, right, in the temples, and for some reason in your feet, maybe feet and wrists. I feel like those joints are giving you trouble lately, right? And I think it's because there's something inside of us that really just needs to let loose. There is this tension. I really do think we need to get outside and do the earthing practice, the grounding practice, and see if we can get some of this tension out of our body and just move, loosen up a little bit. And play and find other people to do things with. Okay. Going up top here into position 5, this is the giant position. And this is kind of, this in a way is, this is kind of the ambition that we have. This is the card that's telling us what we really need to do right now. And the Four of Swords is very much like the Four of Pentacles, kind of closed off, right? That you're somebody who tends to retreat into your own mind, okay? You probably have a very rich inner world. You probably meditate. You probably enjoy your solitude, right? Because I think as kids we kind of learn to do that. And now I think because of the Four of Pentacles in your past, you kind of developed a Four of Swords, which is when, I tend to have a richer interior world because I'm not having that expression in the exterior world. And so we tend to stay in our thoughts. I think you're a very cerebral person. I think you're very introspective, and you're very, maybe even you feel like you're more of an introvert than you would like to be. But anytime we get the 4, right, we start looking for the 5. Because this is saying we've been too closed off. We've been stuck in our head too much. We've been talking to ourselves more than we're talking to other people. And the Four of Pentacles is that way too. We need the 5. We need movement. We've spent too much time in our own company. We need the company of others. We've got to get out of the house, so to speak. Okay? When you were a kid, you had imaginary friends, right? The Four of Swords is another very good card. This is meditation. This is breath work. This is really again, it's with that interoception. We're very much aware of our body states, our mental states, our heart rate, how you're breathing, right? You're very aware of these things, and that's wonderful. But there's a time where we have to say, okay, you know what? I spend way too much time meditating. I need to go out and just talk to some other people, So you ever have those periods of those experiences where you're sick, or something else is going on and you haven't talked to anybody in a long time, and then when you finally get around another person, you can't stop talking? That's kind of what this feels like. It feels like once we have this breakthrough moment and we come out of our shell a little bit, we're going to be overjoyed. We're going to be overjoyed with activity, with connections, with love, with interests in other things. Okay. So there is something, some part of you that still kind of wants to hide. I think we're making a conscious choice here to emerge from this seclusion, even energetically, and to really allow ourselves to be and to feel and to have joy and to follow the path with heart and to have the kind of love or the kind of fun, I guess, that we want to have. Now, in the future position, you've got a Queen of Pentacles. And the future position is position 6. It's the Imago. Okay? Represents the next steps for you. And the next steps seem to be, you looking at the past and understanding. It's kind of like when you look back at your Four of Pentacles and you see how far you've come. It's kind of like, you see those shows about the people who are maybe agoraphobic, or, they haven't left their house in a long time. And they take like 5 or 10 steps outside of their house. And then, they kind of look back at their front door and they're like, wow, like I took 10 steps out from my house, And that's an accomplishment. That's such a win, such a victory. And then the next day, maybe they take 15 steps. Maybe the next day they go to the mailbox. Maybe the next day they go around the block. Maybe the next day they kind of get in their car and they drive to the park or something, right? So it's these baby steps. But each time we do it is a win. So the Queen of Pentacles is looking at the past and understanding how far we've come. This is your future self turning around and understanding the long and winding road, okay? I think that you're somebody who's going to experience a big shift in your life. I feel like this is somebody who has a lot of people around them. They have time for introspection. See, there's no other people in the figure. There's maybe the pets and the plants, but the people are around here somewhere. This is somebody who is very content with the life that they have. This is your future self looking back and very happy that you decided to take a chance. Very happy that you decided to get out of your comfort zone and start living the life that felt right, that resonated with you. Okay? Because now this Queen of Pentacles is set up, very successful, very content, but is also understanding, the path and how difficult the path was, and acknowledging how much work we put into something. Yeah. The queens are always looking at the past, and, well, they're looking at the long and winding road that you see in the background of this card, the ups and downs, the twists and turns. Okay. So the next steps for you, right, in order to achieve this wonderful resonance, sense of community, family, love, compassion, and connection and intimacy, we need to understand the past. And I feel like, again, there's no major arcana. I think Spirit's saying that this is the work you're doing currently. So keep doing what you're doing because it's working out, okay? Keep looking at the past and understanding, where it is you've kind of closed yourself off. And even in the moment, when you're in the middle of doing something, understand, feel the shift where you suddenly the wall goes up. And if we can recognize that when the wall goes up, I can say, oh, you know what? I literally just put a wall up. Let me take that wall down and let me reach out to this other person I'm with and say something and talk to them. And, I think we understand that shift. We can feel that in real time, And I think you know what I'm talking about. When you're just in the middle of a conversation, then suddenly one or the other person just kind of shuts down. Suddenly there's a wall that goes up and we get on our phone, or we just kind of turn and we start looking the other way, and it's like, what happened? We didn't say anything weird, or what I mean? It's not, there's no overt or obvious reason why, but sometimes that energy just shifts, and really it's when we become too aware of what we're doing. We become self-aware, and we have that sort of self-consciousness, and then we kind of like, we get a little bit too, and then we sort of retreat inside of ourselves again. Okay. So I think this is a very important next step for you, is to continue to do this work and continue to reflect on your history, reflect on your past, so that you know how far you're moving and what you are creating, and to see and appreciate and acknowledge how much progress you are making in your life. Okay. This is somebody who's very, very happy with the life that they're created. They have the whole world in their hands. Okay? So everything that you could want, everything that you feel like is a happy and healthy life, that's what you're achieving. The Six of Cups even is the 6 pillars of a happy life. And, these can be different for different people, but in a very generic kind of way, it's adequate sleep. It is intentional eating, intentional movement, stress reduction, right? Relationships, healthy relationships. And what's the 6th one? Sense of purpose. a sense of self, a pride in yourself, feeling like I'm living a purposeful life. There is a reason why I'm here. It's not because I need to be a painter or a plumber. No, I'm here because I have a purpose. I am the purpose. So we don't have to pick necessarily one path. But I think we will, obviously over time, we will sort of settle into a particular groove of our life's purpose. Yes, I believe that. But I think this card is saying I want to live a purposeful life. And so I need to focus on all these things. I think right now the biggest one for you is the relationships. Finding that sense of community in your life. Okay. Now, Path of the Serpent, let's talk about these cards. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And if there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, your persona, the Seven of Cups, is in the persona position, your general energy. And this is a card, first of all, it's a card of recognizing which one of these is not functioning properly, okay? There's some kind of, icky, gooey substance on my Six of Cups, right? There's something here that shouldn't be here. It's like the Five of Cups is kind of saying there's something that should be here, but it's not. The Seven of Cups is saying there's something that is here that shouldn't be here. Okay, so something is a little bit off balance. Okay, that there may be a little bit too much of something. And so I wonder if this, as a persona card, is this a way we're sort of overcompensating? We are sort of overdoing some aspect of things. Are we sleeping too much? Are we too focused on the intentional eating or the movement even? Does it seem like we are a little bit too eager for those relationships? Is there some place where we might be going a little bit excessive in one of these areas of life? Okay, or where one of these 6 pillars of happiness is a little bit, what's the right word? I guess unhealthy, but I'd say out of balance. Okay, out of balance. It's either our relationships, there's something that we're seeking in our relationships in maybe a little bit of an imbalanced or unhealthy manner. It could be that there's some relationship with food, right? Our intentional eating that is kind of a little bit excessive, okay? Or needs to be, let's say, cleaned up a little bit, yeah? Or something in our movement that is either maybe you're moving too much, maybe you're overdoing the exercise, maybe we're kind of like, we're out of balance, it's excessive, yeah. Or even the opposite, that we're not moving enough, that our sort of rest and relaxation is excessive, we're sleeping too much, okay? So something is out of balance, something is here that shouldn't be here. It needs to be reduced a little bit. Does that make sense? And so I think, in a way, what we're really looking for, because these two cards are kind of showing that kind of anxiety that is starting to show in our behavior a little bit. What we really want is peace and tranquility and connection. We want just to sit and enjoy and sit and look at our life and think, wow, I'm so glad I left my house, But I think that this is at least the recognition that something's a little bit too much, and something needs to be dialed back a little bit so I can have this harmony, I can have a little bit of that sense of tranquility and that sense of peace and resonance. Sometimes this is the card that says, when something is working, I tend to do it even more, right? If a little bit works, a lot must work better, right? When a little bit feels good, I dial it up. I got to increase it. So maybe you have that tendency, and maybe that's a kind of a reaction or a rebellion against our Four of Pentacles a little bit, right? So we're not looking to go to the extreme. We're not looking to jump from a 4 to a 7. We're just looking for the 6. We don't want too much. We don't want too little. It has to be a nice balance, harmony, resonance. Everything is sort of equal, okay? And well, this could be a lot of things. It could be your sense of competition. It could be we've exaggerated our personality in some dimension. Yeah, we need to dial back. Okay. And now the next card is the Five of Wands. In the environment, in your relationship, that should be a healthy dose of competition. Okay. But what it kind of is saying is that there are situations in your life that feel kind of competitive in a way, right? Feels as if there are challenges facing you with, other people. Let's say you're on a sports team, and there's some healthy competition between the players on the team. Well, that healthy competition is sort of giving you that feeling of anxiety because we sort of lock up. Maybe we're not engaging the way we really want to. There's something that was inhibiting us. I think you are now. Because again, I feel like Spirit is sort of saying that you've been doing all of this work and you're making the right choices and you need to continue to do all the things you're doing, okay? But I feel like that's a big part of the system of energy right now. This seems to be a snapshot of the landscape of your soul, right? And there is these things that are happening outside that are making us feel anxious because we still feel a little bit of a blockage. So we're trying to engage more. We're trying to not avoid confrontation. It's not always appropriate to avoid the fight, the energetic fight, the struggle, the push and pull of the universe. I think you've been taught, and you know all too well that when you push, the universe will push back. Okay, so did we learn to never push? This is a card of striving. This is a Five of Wands. To me, represents a hand that's reaching out to grab what it wants out of life. Okay, it's that kind of confidence. It's Saturn and Leo, right? So this is kind of, what is it that is taking place in the world around us that's kind of restricting our confidence because we're not engaging with it, And so by not taking part in the kind of, let's say, healthy competition of life, we're diminishing our own sense of self, our own capabilities. So I think that's something that you're working on, something you're trying to do, is to, stand up for yourself, assert yourself, be willing to kind of to have a conversation with somebody, have a different opinion than other people. Again, we're trying to open up. Anytime we get a 4, we start looking for the 5. Well, there's your 5. Okay, and so we're taking a chance, and it's kind of like, well, it'd be safer if I didn't climb the mountain. Well, yeah, but then by not climbing the mountain, that mountain is kind of mocking you, in a way. And so we kind of feel like, okay, I got to at least try it. I've got to do something that gets me out of myself and lets me know, reminds me that I can reach for things in life, and I'm capable of doing it, whether it's an art form, whether it's some kind of a sport or a team sport, or if it's some work thing, it's some ambition, a career thing. Even if it's kind of like we're reluctant to do anything, maybe there's this embarrassment kind of thing, or like I'm thinking of someone who's like out in public just dancing in the street, watch out for cars, of course. And that we don't do that. It's like we imagine it. It's it's in our mind we're doing it, but in our physical body, we're not doing it. Okay? So inside, it's happening. This is now we're taking it outside, that we're doing those things, that we're taking a chance on, relationships. Like you might be kind of in your head, you walked up to somebody and you started talking. And everybody's laughing and it's a good time. But really what you did, we stood there. Okay? And so I feel like that's kind of what you're working on right now. Yeah, and we're trying to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit more direct. We're trying to kind of take chances, take risks. We're trying to take ourselves out of our comfort zone in small steps, healthy ways. We're trying to go 10 feet today, 15 feet tomorrow. And I think that's wonderful for you because it's restoring your sense of self. It's restoring your confidence and your sense of like being capable of doing really whatever you want in life. And whatever you want to get, we've got to take that chance. The next card that we see, of course, is the Ten of Swords in the position of the specter. And this is our fear, worry, concern. It's our anxiety. And to me, this is, it's a fear of, it's kind of like, I think it's everybody's fear. It's a fear of being exposed as a phony, you know? It's maybe the embarrassment. Maybe this is the fear of reaching for something and stumbling and everybody's seeing it. Yeah. And then that sort of anxiety, it kind of is self-sabotaging. The Ten of Swords is sometimes the card that has stabbed itself in the back. And we've betrayed ourselves. We've sabotaged ourselves. Okay? So when we feel some kind of anxiety about some sort of performance, well, that's going to make it more likely that we're going to perform the way we fear we would. And it's kind of self-reinforcing. And then we say, yeah, see, I tried to do the thing, and guess what? I fell, and it was embarrassing, and now I'm not going to do that again. So the anxiety is really, part of that issue. And I think that we all have some form of anxiety. It's hard not to always be in that kind of fight or flight mode, which is essentially what anxiety is, right? It's us feeling in our body that fight or flight, but we can't identify why. I feel like the Ten of Swords is also the card of getting out of the birdcage. Yeah. To me, this is now we've realized that I'm never going to have the life I want if I don't start having the life I want. And so we get ourselves, this is really that breakthrough moment where we're getting out of the birdcage. We're making the choice to not stay where it's safe. Inside the birdcage, inside your four and your four, which ultimately do give you the 8, right? Inside the fours, you're in the birdcage. Someone's bringing you food and water. You got the newspaper at the bottom of the cage or whatever. Like everything's good, right? It's pretty nice. The fours are cards that are apparently stable, but we know that the fours are really a lesson in impermanence. That this is not, being in the birdcage is not going to be good forever. It may feel okay right now. It's not the best. I'm not living my life, but I'm not sinking and suffering all that much either. So things are like right in the middle, like kind of lukewarm. And life outside the birdcage, well, it's kind of scary, right? Life outside the birdcage, which is basically the 5, is us taking ourselves outside of the birdcage as often as possible. And it's not just a one and done thing. Let's remind ourselves of that. We don't just get out of the birdcage and then it's like, okay, I'm free, and that's it. I'm never going back to the birdcage. No, very often this birdcage idea is us in one moment, I'm going to go talk to that person, or you know what, I'm going to pick up the darts and see if I can throw them at the target. We do that once. That's the getting out of the birdcage moment. And then we're sort of back in it again, maybe after a few minutes, or after maybe that energy lasts for a day or two, and then we're kind of back in the birdcage. We have to make the effort again. This is a thing. This is a practice. It has to be repeated. Okay. But we realize that it's quite pointless to stay in the birdcage and not go after those things in life that make me feel like I'm living my life, that feel satisfying, that feel harmonious, and that resonate with my soul. Okay. So I think that this card is our fear of what's outside the birdcage, because we're exposed. Now this is where my parents told me all the bad things can happen. Don't go outside at night because that's when bad things happen. Don't talk to strangers. Don't take any risks at all. Don't spend your money. Don't climb that tree. All these different things, and because that's when bad things happen. So we stay inside the birdcage. The next card, though, your destiny, is you making your own choices. We don't have to let whatever the past was, whatever your experience was, whatever you've learned, whatever you were taught, we don't have to let those programs keep us inside the birdcage. We don't have to be stuck here. Every moment you're making the choice. Do I get out of the birdcage today, or do I stay in the birdcage? And we see that this choice is not just a mental choice, because if we leave it up to the mind will rationalize and keep us in the birdcage. The Two of Swords really is, this is not a two, it's a multiplication sign. Thoughts multiply themselves. They're like bunnies, right? There's more and more and more and more of them. The more you think, the more you think. That's it. Okay? And thinking does not equal action. And so this card is not saying we need to think about it more until we make a decision. No, because the 2 becomes the 4, becomes the 8, becomes the 64, becomes the 128, and the 256, and the 512, and whatever, 1024. This card is about following your intuition, following your gut. What would your higher self do right now? Okay. There's a connection with dolphins for you, right? That's one of your very important animals or symbols. Yeah, the dolphin. Maybe you have a dolphin tattoo, or a drawing or a painting or something of a dolphin. Yeah, or it's a memory imprint of a dolphin anyway. So we know that this is, well, the intuition, because there's that little crescent moon at the top of that card. And that's what we're relying on. Our intuition, our spiritual energy to guide us. Where do I need to follow this path? And, what choices do I need to make right now to align myself with myself? Align myself with my destiny, with that 6 of Cups. Okay, so the choice is now, it becomes kind of a daily choice. Am I going to get out of the birdcage today? Am I going to do something? Am I going to speak up about something today? Am I going to do something that I know I want to do, but I've been reluctant to do? It's something simple. I'm going to go outside and go for a walk today. I've been telling myself I want to do it for months. I'm going to do it. I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to, smile and talk to the person behind the counter, giving me my coffee or my matcha latte at the coffee shop. Is what I'm drinking these days, matcha. And so this is that choice, moment-to-moment choice. And very often we're not going to choose. Very often we're going to say, nah, not today. We just have to continue to do this work, and I guarantee your life will feel better. Okay? Especially when we can identify what place in our life is a little bit too much right now, where we're a little bit off balance in the positive rather than off balance in the negative, right? It's not that we're not sleeping enough, or maybe it's kind of like we're staying awake too many hours, right? But there's too much of something. There's something that needs to be reduced. Okay, and maybe when we make that choice, we see that there's a lot of opportunity. There's maybe more physical health. There's maybe more of a powerful feeling inside of us that says, yeah, I can and I want to do this. Whatever this is, whatever your things are. Okay, let's look at the mystery card. Position 11, the guide. This represents the voice of the silence within you, represents the wisdom of your higher self, showing you usually what character quality you should develop in order to continue moving forward. And to me, this could be the High Priestess. This could be the Emperor. It could be the Strength card. I feel like it's major arcana. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's take a look at the 10 of Swords. Okay, so what you need to do is develop the ability to recognize the birdcage and to step out of it as often as possible, knowing that it's okay that we go back to the birdcage and we want to be safe, we want to feel comfortable, I want to feel like, I'm going to retreat into myself sometimes, that's okay. But we have to at least be aware when that happens and try to make a conscious effort to get back out of that. Sometimes we go inside of ourselves and we get stuck there. And then the people around us disappear. Figuratively, but sometimes they actually do, because they say, okay, well, I guess Paul doesn't want to talk to us, and so they start doing their own thing. This is my energy as well. So to get this card again, this illustrates the point that we've stabbed ourselves in the back sometimes. Every time we talk ourselves out of doing the thing that we really want to do, saying, talking to the person we really want to talk to, going after the goal we really want to go after, doing the activity or whatever it is. We're trying to get outside of ourselves. Every time we don't do it, or every time we talk ourselves out of it, we're sort of stabbing ourselves in the back. We're betraying our true nature. So it's not to make us feel guilty. It's to make us aware that this is happening, so that we can, that's the first step, and I think you've done that step. You said, okay, I'm aware. And now I just need to keep practicing it. Practice getting out of the birdcage, not just once. See, we get the card twice. It's not you get out of the birdcage once and you're free. No, you get out of the birdcage and then probably fly back to the birdcage. We used to have birds when I was a kid. We had parrots. And one time they got out. They were in the garage, the cage door was open, they flew out onto the neighbor's roof. They spent a few hours up there, just kind of chilling, hanging out, looking at stuff, maybe flew to the light pole and back a couple times. And then eventually the sun started to go down, the parrot flew back into the cage. Okay, I was kind of hoping it would just go and be free. I was a kid, I was like, go, be free. Didn't want to. Wanted to come back to the birdcage. I don't know if a tropical parrot, it was a scarlet macaw, I don't know if they would have fared well in a suburban neighborhood in California. But I was a kid, so I just, I wanted to see the bird free. I don't think I left the cage open, though. I don't remember who did. Maybe it was me, I don't know. Anyway, but the idea is that we will fly back to the birdcage, and that's okay. It's a practice, and we need to do that practice every day. It's just like the earthing and the grounding thing. We do it as often as we can, and we'll start to see some real benefits here. All right? Now, please let the lessons of these 11 stations settle into your heart. Each card is a mirror, and each station is a temple of transformation. Remember, the tarot does not dictate your future. It reveals the pattern of possibilities. It invites you to co-create your destiny. If this reading has illuminated your path in any way, please share your reflections down below. Together we journey onward, ever upward and ever inward. And we will do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram, we'll do some oracle cards, okay? There's a link in the corner, there's a link down below, new readings for Aries on Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.